This is Jarod Hector with your Nets post-game report. The Brooklyn Nets just dropped the game to the Utah Jazz, 118-107. Rudy Gobert, Joe Ingles, Donovan Mitchell were all huge contributors tonight for the Jazz, who have won 10 straight and 15 of their last 16. The Nets were led by Kyrie Irving, who was magnificent once again, 32 points, 11 assists on 12 of 19 from the field. But that's about where it ended for the Nets. They had no help really from anyone else. Spencer Dinwiddie did have 17 points, but that was on 17 shots. Karis LeVert struggled, Joe Harris struggled, and Jarrett Allen really struggled. Rudy Gobert had 22 points and 18 rebounds, and Jarrett Allen was really ineffective, only having 2 rebounds and unable to keep Rudy off the glass. The Nets struggled from 3, shooting 30%, and struggled from the free throw line, only shooting 60%. Now, following the game, Kyrie Irving talked about what it means in this team now that he's back and how he's going to help them move through not only this tough stretch, but into the All-Star break and post as they hope towards a run in the playoffs.
Kyrie, you guys were right there multiple times. How did this game feel to you in terms of how it unfolded in the second half?
I mean, you look at them on film and, watched a few of their games, and there's a reason why I think they're 15-1 at this point, or 16-1 in their last, or 15-1 in their last 16. So, you got to give them credit. They finished off first quarter. We gave it 5 points. We were up 26-25, and it was 30-26, and then to end the last 4 minutes in the second quarter, you play against good teams like that, they go on runs. We're down 13 going into halftime, and we're just climbing uphill, and we've had a tendency to do that over a fair share of games, and we just can't get into that kind of position moving forward. But that's a good team in that locker room. They've really played well together this season, and they're developing. So you give them credit, but also we can correct some things on the defensive end, switches, communication, being there to switch when you call out switches, and it's just little things like that. And you just got to keep developing that, and it'll be all right.
Another test tomorrow in the second half of the back-to-back. What kind of challenge the 76ers present?
Another big team. Gonna pack the paint, gonna be very physical, and then it's always a great crowd in Philly, so we gotta expect that. They're pretty good on their home floor this year, so we give them respect, but we gotta come in there and as a road team, just continue to battle and weather the storm, weather their runs, and just play our basketball. Just continue to be there for each other defensively, make our mark on that end, and offensively, just moving the basketball, attacking those guys, and kind of staying in the rhythm the whole game.
Hey, Kyrie, what's it been like playing with Karis and Spencer? And is there like a feeling out process about where to be with each other on the floor, and who has the ball, who doesn't have the ball? I mean, what's that been like?
It's an adjustment. You got guys that you respect, and you want to give them a lot of space, and you want to create different opportunities for one another, and we just got to figure out a way to play better off of one another when we're out there on the perimeter. It's a big guard front. We got to be able to guard on the other end as well. Donovan came up and with Spencer and Karis, and when you come into those pick and rolls, you just got to be ready as a team defensively to guard guys like that are dynamic, and but we got to use it to our advantage. We got to get out in transition, come off those pick and rolls, and be kind of sacrificial guys out there, rolling up on the weak side, and just doing the little things. But it's definitely an adjustment. I think we'll figure it out.
You mentioned, obviously, you got another good game, another good team in Philly. I think you got a stretch with 5 really good teams that you're facing. Just how much of a challenge, I guess, is this next week and a half for you guys?
I love it. I mean, as a competitor, like you want to have these tests at this point in the season where it's not just about kind of running the team out of the gym or a below 500 team or anything like that. It's really about making your mark and setting the standards that you want heading into All-Star break. I look at that far ahead as just games that we got to get, and this was a game that we technically had to get, but it was a good test, and now we go into Philly, and I think that we'll be in a better position as well when we get a few guys back, and we just got to weather the storm though. But you're absolutely right. We're heading into another competitive stretch, and me as one of the leaders of the team, I look forward to that, and just got to be even more efficient, even more communicative on the defensive end, and I feel like we'll be in a great position. But when we have moments like we have like tonight where we give up, I forgot what run they went on to in that second quarter, or something like that, it takes the wind out of the sails a little bit, and you got to come out at halftime and really be ready to climb uphill. And they didn't let us. I played the Jazz for plenty of years, and they very rarely let you back in the game, whether at home or on the road. And they did a good job spreading us out at the end of the game and letting Donovan go to work. So you got to give him credit.
How about your game? You don't look rusty, but you feel rusty.
I'm just grateful to be out there. Just putting a lot of work. While no one was watching, and just really trying to put a great game together. But it really doesn't matter what type of performance you have if you're not leading your team to wins. And I think as I continue to grow with this group, it'll be more demanding on myself. But that's what you got to delegate responsibilities and let those guys be themselves and let them grow into their roles. And we just feel in that way. But I think they've been doing a great job just being very attentive to what I'm saying, what coach is saying, and just finding out what our principles are as a defensive team, so we make things easier. Push catches out, do the little things on the defensive end, and then we'll be competitive on the offensive end.
You touched on physically after 2 games back.
I feel good. That's the thing. You just want to continue to feel good. But I think being out for that, those 25 games, 26 games, really gave me a time to really slow down. And get healthy and really put an emphasis on getting my body to where I need to get to. Early on in the season, I had 3 broken bones in my face, and I got hit again in China, and had a short preseason. My first preseason game was in Toronto. I played 1 preseason game, just had to make up that time, and I think that's what attributed to me having my shoulder impingement. Is just really trying to make up lost time. And now where I am is just trying to stay even keel, be as healthy as I can be. And just be with these guys and continue to get better.
You played 32, I think about 32 minutes. I mean, barring anything untoward happening, you still feel confident you can play tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, I'm in tomorrow, for sure.
You've obviously shot very efficiently your first 2 games back. Does that have anything to do with you having a fully healthy shoulder?
Yeah. I mean, my last 4 games that I played on that road trip was just forcing a lot of the shots. I rewatched a lot of that film, and I was just rushing. And my jump shot, I wasn't following through, and I could feel it in my shoulder, just getting uncomfortable. And then you compound that onto, not really knowing what's the right diagnosis or what you're supposed to do with maintenance. So once I figured that out, I feel like I'm in a better place. And now I could kind of get my elbow pointed and not have that impingement anymore, which was killing me, man. So
you touched on Donovan Mitchell earlier about his drives to the lane at the end of the game. What did you see from him tonight, and if you've seen anything from him at all on film from earlier in the season?
Oh man, well he's great in the mid range and he's great attacking the rim. And I think tonight once they started setting those pick and rolls with Bogdanovich and Ingles, they really got him going to his right hand, and he started making decisions. And once you see 1 or 2 go in, we had him pretty contained throughout the game, but in that fourth quarter they really did a great job of spreading out the offense and letting him attack. So
you ran into a lot of
with all the injuries, you still are slated to be an all-star starter, and if the voting ended today, you'd be in the backcourt with Trae Young. And obviously this season and this team was about coming back home. When Trae was a kid, that team that is home for him, Oklahoma City, he met a lot of guys like yourself post-game, and he knowledge from you guys. What would starting alongside him mean to you because of that, and what was your relationship like with him as a kid?
Oh man, I don't know if that's a sign that I'm getting older, or is that just like, because I remember taking that picture with Trae in Oklahoma City, so it's pretty amazing to see what he's been able to do in his first 2 years. And if that does happen, that'd be great. I'm grateful for the opportunity for any of the young guys that are deserving to be in that All-Star game. And you let the fans, you let the media, you let the coaches do the voting, but whoever's picked, I think they'll be well deserving. And if it's Trae, then hey, let's go after it.
You have to deal with a lot of Rudy Gobert screens tonight. You went to the floor a few times. Are you at the point where you're not really thinking about your shoulder anymore, or is it still kind of in your mind where you're trying to defend the pick and roll?
To be honest with you, I wouldn't be out there if I was thinking about my shoulder or thinking about it would put me at further risk for injury. So, going out there, I'm used to getting screened by guys. So, it's basketball at the end of the day. It's a competitive, physical sport. And I do the best that I can for my shoulder to be out there, but I'm not really thinking about it.
All right, guys, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
As mentioned, Kyrie Irving was magnificent, 32 points, 11 assists, 12 of 19 from the field, but he was the rising tide that was unable to lift the ships around him. Now, the challenge for Kyrie coming back to this team is he's going to have to find a way to continue to do what he's doing, but get the rest of his guys to step up and play at his level. Because tonight, he was the only one playing at a high level capable of playing with this Utah Jazz team. Now, Kyrie has been working his way in and letting the offense come to him and involving his teammates. He's not rushing anything. He's not forcing anything. The issue really are the Nets' other players. Karis LeVert, again, struggling from the field, inability to finish at the rim. Spencer Dinwiddie's efficiency, that was the hallmark while Kyrie was out, has dipped a little bit. We talked about Jarod Allen's struggles on the glass as well as scoring in the paint. We have Joe Harris is also having a variance issue with his threes. He's shooting about 32% in his last 10 games, which, is fine, but he's an above 40% shooter, so that's going to kind of ebb and flow. The other issue, of course, with the Knicks is defensively. Their inability, as I mentioned, to stop Donovan Mitchell down the stretch. Teams are going to hunt matchups, and the Nets are going to have to figure out a way to shore up their pick-and-roll coverage and really make sure that guys can funnel the driver where they want them to go on the floor and into a difficult shot. Now, the Nets, as we talked about, are in a tough part of their schedule. They travel tonight because they play Philly tomorrow on the road, and then they're back home on Saturday to face the Milwaukee Bucks. For CLNS Media, this is Jarod Hector.